Are you tired of feeling anxiety devouring you, aren't you? Tired of waking up every day with that weight on your chest, not knowing how to stop the mind that just won't rest? But let me ask you a cruel question. Do you really think you're going to keep living like this? Are you going to wait for life to magically sort itself out? For everything to suddenly calm down one day? The answer is simple. It won't. It won't, because the anxiety you feel isn't just something that comes from the outside. It's rooted in you. It's in your mind. It's in your choices. It's in your shadows. And do you know what you do? You pretend it doesn't exist. You ignore it. You try to push it away. And each day, it only grows stronger. You try to control the uncontrollable and end up sinking even deeper. But I have something to show you. A secret, hidden technique that Carl Jung used to deal with his own anguish. And it can change your life in 7 days. Do you have the courage to face what's inside you? Because, believe me, what you've been trying so far won't save you. But what I'm going to teach you, it might just transform everything into something you can master. Now, if you're ready to stop running, to stop sabotaging yourself, and finally face your anxiety head on, then stay here. I promise you, your life will never be the same. Carl Jung wasn't just a psychologist. He was an explorer of the human soul. While most people try to silence the pain, he did the opposite. He dove into the depths of it. Jung discovered something that very few people have the courage to apply. A truth so powerful that most prefer to ignore it. He called it the integration of the shadow. And before you think this is just another pretty self-help phrase, listen to this. Jung claimed that everything you hide, deny, reject in yourself, the fear, the ego, the anger, the guilt, all of it creates a force in your unconscious, a force that controls your life without you even realizing it. Your anxiety? It's not a mistake. It's a sign of unresolved inner conflict. The parts of you that you tried to silence, and now they're screaming louder and louder. You take medication, breathe deeply, exercise, but that only soothes the surface. The shadow keeps acting, invisible, silent, relentless. Jung's hidden technique is the exact opposite of what you were taught. It's not about suppressing anxiety. It's about facing it, integrating it. It's about looking inward with courage day after day and bringing to light what rules you in the dark. And here's the part that changes everything. Jung discovered that when you face the shadow, it loses control over you. When you accept what you've always tried to hide, your entire system begins to reorganize. Anxiety stops being a monster and becomes a compass. This is not mysticism. This is deep psychology. And now you're going to learn how to apply this technique in just 7 days. But before we continue, let me warn you, this process is not comfortable. It demands truth, presence, and confrontation. But if you truly want to break this cycle of chronic anxiety, this technique will open a door you'll never want to close again. Let's begin. Now, I'm going to guide you through a simple yet powerful 7-day process to start reducing your anxiety and integrating your shadow. Each day, you'll take a deep step toward your true inner strength. And make no mistake, this technique will shake you, it will challenge you, but I promise that by the end of the 7 days, you'll be a different person. Here's what you need to do. Day 1. Acknowledge your emotions. The first step is simple but essential. Acknowledge your emotions. During your day, pause for a few minutes whenever you feel anxious. Ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Don't just try to ignore it. Look at the anger, the fear, the discomfort, and write it down in your journal. Don't judge yourself. Just observe and record. You are starting to name your shadow. Without recognition, the shadow keeps controlling you from the darkness without you even realizing it. Day 2. Observe what you avoid. Anxiety is often a reflection of what we're avoiding. On the second day, observe the situations, people, or even thoughts that you try to avoid at all costs. Ask yourself, what am I trying to escape from? What are you afraid to face? Write it down. Every time you avoid something, you're feeding the shadow, making it stronger. Today, you begin to notice these escapes and start confronting them one step at a time. Day 3. Deepen your shadows. Now, you'll begin to look at the parts of yourself you fear the most. What bothers you? What makes you feel insecure, ashamed, or inferior? This is the time to face those aspects directly. Write about them. There's nothing wrong with those feelings. They are part of who you are. The fear of facing your shadow is what keeps it in control. So look at it and write what comes to your mind. Day 4. Confront the pain. Here, the process starts to get more intense. You'll need to begin confronting the pain behind your anxiety. Don't run from discomfort. This doesn't mean seeking suffering, but being willing to face the pain head on, without hiding. Ask yourself, what is this pain trying to teach me? You may need to look at old wounds or unresolved traumas. This is part of the integration process. Stop running and start learning from the pain. Day 5. Acceptance. Now comes the key to transformation. Acceptance. This is not about resigning yourself to pain, but accepting that it is a part of who you are. The anxiety you feel, the pain that consumes you, the shadows you avoid, all of them are legitimate parts of you. Acceptance doesn't mean giving up the fight, but rather stopping the resistance. When you accept your shadows, they begin to lose their power over you. Acceptance is the beginning of integration. Day 6. Integration. The 6th day is about integration. Now that you've recognized, observed, explored, and accepted your shadows, it's time to integrate them. This means that instead of rejecting or fighting your feelings, you're going to learn to use them to your advantage. Start to notice how the emotions that once paralyzed you can be sources of wisdom. Ask yourself, how can I use this energy to grow? By integrating your shadows, you're bringing more clarity, more balance, and more strength into your life. Day 7. Reflection and transformation. On the final day, you'll reflect on what has happened so far. Ask yourself, what has changed in me over these 7 days? Look at the anxiety that once dominated your life and notice how much more capable you are now of handling it with calm and clarity. Anxiety doesn't vanish overnight, but by integrating your shadows, you'll already be much more aware of your reactions and emotions. You'll start to feel more in control because you're no longer being controlled by your anxiety. And this is where true transformation begins. You're no longer at war with yourself. This is the power of Jung's technique. It's not about suppressing anxiety, but about understanding and integrating what causes it. Over these 7 days, you'll begin to reconnect with parts of yourself you've been avoiding, parts that are, in fact, essential to your inner peace. You'll realize that anxiety is not an enemy, but a sign that something inside you needs to be acknowledged and integrated. And by doing so, you begin to create a space of peace, a space where anxiety no longer holds the same power. Now that you have the step-by-step process, remember, this technique is not easy. It requires courage, honesty, and perseverance. But if you commit to it, the results will be incredible. Are you ready to begin? When you begin to integrate your shadows, you are entering a path of deep transformation. It may seem like anxiety doesn't disappear overnight, but what you'll start to notice is that it no longer consumes you. And this change isn't just temporary. True transformation happens in the long term, and what you'll experience goes beyond just a reduction in anxiety. Here are the benefits you'll begin to experience over time. 1. Real control over your emotions. As you integrate your shadows, you begin to realize you're no longer a puppet to your emotions. The anxiety that once controlled you now becomes something you can consciously manage. You'll no longer be caught off guard by emotional reactions, and you'll have the necessary control to respond, not react, to life situations. This creates a peace that comes from within, not from external factors. 2. Mental and emotional clarity. When you start to integrate everything you've repressed inside, your mind becomes clearer and more focused. There will no longer be a constant internal battle. Inner chaos gives way to serenity. You'll begin to realize that the worries that once consumed your mind are now easier to handle. You'll gain mental clarity that allows you to make decisions with more confidence and assertiveness. 3. Less dependence on defense mechanisms. Anxiety often comes from attempts to protect ourselves from uncomfortable emotions. When you begin to accept your shadow, you no longer need to create defenses like fear, denial, or excessive control. You stop hiding and start living more authentically. This change in perspective reduces emotional overload and brings more freedom into your daily life. 4. Increased resilience. True resilience doesn't come from avoiding pain, but from learning to face and integrate difficulties. When you accept your shadows and learn to handle anxiety in a healthy way, you become much more resilient. Stressful situations that used to destabilize you begin to lose their grip. You become stronger, more flexible, and able to navigate life's challenges with much more balance. 5. More compassion and empathy. As you learn to integrate your own shadows and accept yourself as you are, you begin to realize that everyone has their inner battles. The compassion you feel for yourself extends to others. Instead of judging or criticizing others for their weaknesses, you see them with more empathy. This improves your relationships and creates a deeper connection with the people around you. 6. A life free from guilt and excessive fear. Anxiety is closely tied to the fear of not being good enough, of failing, or of being rejected. When you begin to integrate your shadow, you start freeing yourself from these emotional chains. You'll realize that you no longer need others' approval to feel valid. Emotional self-sufficiency grows, and you begin living a life where the fear of failure no longer paralyzes your actions. Guilt fades away, and you start living according to what's most true for you. 7. a new relationship with anxiety. At first, anxiety seems like an unstoppable force, but when you integrate your shadow, you begin to realize that anxiety is not an enemy. It's a messenger. It tells you something important about your insecurities, your fears, your unresolved wounds. As you reconcile with it, you not only learn to cope, but also begin to use it in your favor. Anxiety stops being a monster to be feared and becomes a source of self-awareness. These are the real and lasting results you can expect over time. By applying Carl Jung's technique, you're not looking for a quick or temporary fix. You're creating a permanent shift, a transformation that will help you live a much lighter, more balanced, and more authentic life. Remember, anxiety won't disappear overnight, but the power it holds over you will begin to fade as you understand yourself better and start integrating those hidden parts of your being. With each day, you take a step toward your true emotional freedom. And when that happens, you are no longer a prisoner of anxiety. You become the master of your own mind. You've already taken the first step by starting this journey. Now, what will you do with this knowledge? If you truly want to see your life change, the time to act is now. I challenge you to start today by implementing the steps we've shared. Begin your shadow integration process and watch how your anxiety can start to transform. But if you're really serious about this, here's what you should do now. Subscribe to the channel, because this journey doesn't end here. We're going to explore even more powerful ways to work with Jungian deep psychology and other techniques that will help you live a fuller and more balanced life. Leave a comment. I want to know, how did you feel when you heard about Jung's technique? What was your biggest discovery about your anxiety? Share it with us, because your experience might be the key to helping others start their own transformation. Share this video. If you know someone who struggles with anxiety and needs to understand how to break free, send this video to them. Let's spread this message of transformation and help more people reconnect with their inner strength. Remember, this technique is just the beginning. Now that you know how to integrate your shadow, true transformation happens in the everyday, in the small steps you take. And I'm here to support you through each one of them. You're not alone. We all have our shadows. We all have our inner battles. But what defines your journey is how willing you are to look within and integrate those parts of yourself. Anxiety can be a strong shadow, but when you begin to face what it represents, you start to discover a power within you that you never imagined existed. That power doesn't come from trying to protect yourself or avoid pain. It comes from facing it head on, looking at your wounds, and instead of running, healing them. The shadow integration process is not easy. It's not fast, but it's real. And in the end, you won't just have reduced your anxiety. You'll have become someone stronger, more aware, and more at peace with yourself. I know you can do this. I know you're ready to begin this journey, and I'll be here, ready to walk with you into the next step in the next video. Because what you're doing now, by choosing to look inward and transform, is the most powerful thing you can do for your own freedom. I'll see you in the next video. You've already taken the first step. Now just keep going.